Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. More than what we have, what is important is with whatever we have, how we are. That is important. This, more than what, how is given priority and importance in our life, then we will be living happily. Otherwise, we come across people, they have got everything, but they are inside a big vacuum. See? Like the other day when we spoke in that institute, success and fulfillment. Success is always in the outer world. And there are many success stories you must have heard. Success stories of J.D. Birla, success stories of Steve Jobs, success stories of Ford, see, Mr. Buffett, so many success stories. So any story which begins must end. But what is important is external success is everything in life, or inner fulfillment is everything in life. Success could be in one area but failure in another area. Like successful in the business but failure at the home front. I will not tell you the name of a very, very big industrialist who has got his industrial empire round the world. In about more than 20-30 countries, he has his industries. And we happened to meet one day in London. We are having some kind of a cup of tea somewhere. So I asked him this question: "Hey, how is life treating you?" Normally, people ask questions, "How is your business?" And instead of that, I ask this question: "How is life treating you?" He said, "I don't know how to answer this question, but I know what is my life. I keep on moving around the world, around the year. I don't know what for. There are so many industrial units all over the world, huge mines and everything. And I hardly have sat with my wife, my children in last 2 to 3 years. Not months, 2 to 3 years. And I am running like mad. And my wife is enjoying spending the whole money. My son is running after this and that girl. My daughter is running after all funny kind of things. And I am running for no reason. I don't know what I should do." See? Meaning, as regards success is concerned, in the industrial way, he has achieved. But what is the use of that? It is something like a bird who has got one very well developed wing, and the other wing is very weak or not developed. And whenever he will struggle, in the struggle, he will never be able to take off, but he will keep on wriggling in the same place again and again. Therefore, we have to have both the things. Material prosperity, then only you can be happy. And second thing is inner poise. Inner poise is called as spirituality. Spirituality has nothing to do with any religion. Many people mistake this. Nothing to do with any religion. Spirituality is when we start working on ourselves. then the spiritual life begins. See, what parents have given us in this body, which is bound to die. And in every life, if you believe in reincarnation, in every life we have got a new set of parents. See? But the seeker, if he is born, because he has started now working on his own mind. See, friends. So, I'll bring this particular topic because many of you are interested and introduced to this Kundalini. So, there are 7 chakras they talk about. Lower 3 chakras are Mooladhara, Swadhisthana and Manipur. And then comes the Anahat chakra. Now, these lower 3 chakras are the yield of success in the world, in the outer world. And this is possible only if you start accepting you are a body. Getting caught up in the body identification is getting caught up in the Mooladhara. When we are fixed in the body identification, there cannot be freedom from desires. I want this, I want that. That is the Swadhisthana chakra. And these wants have no end. And their greed is the Manipur chakra. So if we look within our life, what we have been achieving in life, only live as bodily identified, try to fulfill the desires, and there is no end to it, and greed becomes the mainstay of our lifestyle. But after having gone through this for years together, one day by God's grace, we start inquiring as to how long this. See? I was surprised many years before, there was one old couple whom I met in Pune, a Maharashtrian couple, and they were outside India for quite some time, and in mainly in the African continent, as some experts. And when I met them in Pune, they were, I think the husband was about 85 or 80 and she was maybe 4 or 5 years younger than him. And then what they were talking about? They were talking about that, we had a maid servant and she used to sing the songs, Hindi songs, and she'll be counting, and this was a particular song she was liking. The whole life, this only? Or there is something higher in life? See, friends, how long are we going to indulge in this? Therefore, it is said, Ishvaranugrahat eva. When a person is blessed by the divine grace, we start inquiring about what life is. And then we start learning from our experiences that whenever I get disturbed, excited, where that is happening, then one day by God's grace we come to know all experiences happen only in the mind. If the mind is at peace, everything is beautiful. If the mind is disturbed, everything is miserable. So that mind which we want to make it at peace, we must know what that mind is. See? One more example I'll tell you. There is one lady, she sometimes comes in Bombay to my place, and she will enter and in 10-15 minutes, she will make my whole house very spick and span. Most of the things are okay, only my work table is always a mess. There are so many gadgets, so many wires and everything. If you fix it and then you don't find anything, so I leave everything as it is. She will come and she says, Swami, let me clean it. And she will clean everything perfectly well in maximum 5 minutes. It looks so nice. I said, Mama, what a magic wand you have got. you make the thing so perfect in no time. She says, Swamiji, I have also got the same question. Why? What is the magic wand you have? You make everything the mess in 5 seconds. So she asked me once, Swamiji, you know, I come to your place, like that many people I go, and I like this thing. What do you think about my spiritual practice? This is what I do. I said, you have asked a wrong question to a wrong person. I will not talk to please you. Because if you are walking a spiritual path, and if somebody tries to please you, he is your enemy. I'll tell you the truth, whether you like or you don't like. Are you ready? Yes. I said, Mama, you are running away from yourself. You can't face yourself. Therefore, you keep on running here and there, here and there. Start spending some time on yourself by exposing yourself to the silence. He said, that is the problem. If I am all by myself, I feel so uncomfortable, uneasy. I have to do this, I have to do that. See, friends, this mind which is making us disturbed and miserable, we have to start working on the mind. And as you start working on the mind, 2 things happen. If you are under the influence of the Jung's philosophy of psychiatry or psychology, then you will talk about only the unhealthy condition of the mind. And if you are walking the spiritual path and therefore you are working on the mind, then you will talk about the infinite potentiality that we have hidden in our own mind. See, 2 things are common for all of us. One thing is a finite time at our disposal. And second thing is the infinite potentiality that we all have. Potentiality is unmanifest, uninvoked in our mind. And the time is finite. So what is the way to live happily? Invoke your infinite potentialities within the finite time. And this balance is the goal. We are not here only because we are born because of somebody's mistake. Then we grow because we can't stop growing. Then we have got health problem, this, that, is no way. And one day we die. Is this all life? See, how many are born, how many grow, how many die? One among them. This inquiry will lead us to a foundation on which living happily is a byproduct. Like cow dung is a byproduct when you have a cow at home. Milk is the main thing. And therefore, the more we start working on our mind, the more we are on the right track. And for that, we must know what the mind is, where all the experiences of joy and happiness happen. So let us find out first of all what the mind is. We have hardly worked on our mind throughout our life because we have not understood what the mind is. We only complain about the mind. Now some data I'll give you and see how it helps us. The effects are gross and the cause is subtle, is the rule. Like colors and forms are many and gross. Vision, which is illuminating all the colors and forms, is without any color and without any form. So the cause is formless and effects are with the form. Effects are therefore many and cause is one. We are going to learn what mind is. Now go to the second step. Is only one mind which comes out of the sense organs and has five faculties. So eyes are limited only to color and form, ears are limited only to sounds, etc. So these five senses have got their special faculties. But the mind is neither having a color and form, nor having a touch, nor having any sound, not having any taste, not having any smell. Be attentive. Mind is pure, it has no dirt of this objective world. See, now we go further. Mind has got many thoughts, and all the thoughts are illuminated by the same conscious principle. The thoughts are many, consciousness illuminating them is the one. So, what is the conclusion? Conclusion is to live happily, we have to start our journey from the periphery of our personality, come to the center of the personality. That is the only way. Now, how we are lost in periphery? This example I have given a number of times. This is a very simple thing which happened actually. One of my friend has asked me that, Swamiji, please give me some instructions so which I can follow for the next 1 year. Till I meet you, I want something to work on. Very sincere seeker. Although he was a police officer, but he was very much interested and he has studied the scriptures also. So I asked him, are you ready? He said, yes. I said, it was night, 8, 9 o'clock. He came to my room. I said, close the door and switch off the light. Then I asked him, what can you see here? He said, I can see nothing, please. So he said, I can see nothing except darkness. Then I told him that, look here, you are telling lies. He said, no, I am not telling you lies. Really, I am seeing darkness. Then I told him, please tell me, can the eyes see the darkness or the eyes see only in the light? Eyes can see only in the light, not in the darkness. So first lie. You say you are seeing darkness, in fact, you are not seeing darkness. Okay. Then, second question I ask. Please tell me, now switch on the light. So he switched on the light. Now tell me, what are you seeing? He said, I am seeing the furniture and your shoes and your laptop and the water bottle and the table, everything. I said, go on telling. He said, that's all. All the contents of this room I am seeing. I said, again you are incomplete. Please tell fully. What more? He said, that's all. I said, I am seeing something more. What is that? I said, I am seeing the light. Without the light, can you see anything? He said, okay, I agree. I said, still you are incomplete. Now this is all. I said, no, I am seeing something more. What is that? Electricity. Now understand this principle from the story. When we are preoccupied with the objects, like when that man told that there are things in this room, he was so much preoccupied with the objects that he has missed the light. He was seeing the light, but it didn't occur to him. So, The objects were covering the light. But what is the truth? The objects were revealed in the light. Then I told him further, he said that's all. Now, second thing, objects were not only covering the light, the objects were also covering the vision. His attention was not on his vision. He was away from his own vision because he was lost. First it was darkness, then it is objects, then it is the light. In short, what is happening? When we give undue importance to the worldly objects, all our sense organs are covered by that. Then we are at the periphery of our personality and our whole life is nothing but what I have, how much I had to protect, how much I had to keep. So, possessions become the mainstay of our lifestyle. Then we are at the periphery. Then we drop the objects, come to the sense organs. When we come to the sense organs, the second thing, we become enslaved so much that unless I get a particular thing, I am not happy. See, like Santa Ganesha was telling something very beautiful. He said, if you have to really walk spiritual path, you have to control only one organ, and that is the tongue. Tongue is two in one. Talking and tasting. So if these two things are controlled, we have taken a bold step to walk on the spiritual path. So what happens? The whole life is spent only in eating, eating, eating. This way, that way, this way, that way. Nothing beyond it. The whole life goes only in a particular type of food I get, I'll be happy. If I don't get, I'm miserable. And second thing is talking non-stop. Whether other wants to listen or not, we keep on talking. In a school, the teacher asks a question to the student. Hey, you are not attentive. No, sir, I am attentive. Okay, tell. He who drives the car, what is he called as? Oh, he is called as driver. Very good. See, I told you I am attentive. The student said. Okay, tell. Who flies the aeroplane? What is he called as? Oh, he is called as pilot. Oh, very good. Then, he who keeps on talking whether others listen or not, what is he called as? So the student said, teacher. Teacher keeps on talking, poor fellow. Who listens to him? In the same manner, you will see many a times, observe this phenomena, where there are two persons talking, we enter, it is not necessary for us to know what these two people are talking. Not necessary. But the moment we go, Acha, kya? Kiske baare? Oh, what? Nothing. This is how we get involved unnecessarily everywhere. So when we thus control the involvement of the sense objects, we have come to the sense organs. When we control the sense organs, we have come to the mind. So the mind is covered by the sense organs. And when we come to the mind, now the mind is covered by the emotions. And because of those emotional onslaught, our wisdom is covered. Our logic is not there. We are not able to think coolly. Such a person can never be contemplative in life. Therefore, to live happily, we have to go to the source of happiness. So, we have to get freedom from the worldly objects, sense organs, the mind, and lead a life of discrimination. What is good for me and what is not good for me. When this comes in our mind, then we are slowly evolved. If you see the inert, uh, inorganic world, there things are only existing. And when we go little higher, come to the plant kingdom, in addition to the existence, there is life. When we go one more step further, from the plant kingdom, we come to the animal kingdom, little more evolution. Animals exist, animals have life, and animals know. They have got knowledge. Now, if we are human beings, above animals, what is that which makes us human beings? If we only restrict these four common factors, eating, sleeping, sense of insecurity, and procreation, if these are the only four things we are satisfied with, there is no reason why we should be called as human beings. They are common between us and animals. Then what is next? So, as a human being, what could be the possibility of further evolution? As a human being, the only evolution left is the spiritual evolution. See, friends. And therefore, spiritual evolution guides us. Don't seek happiness, discover happiness. See. And for this discovery, we require intelligence, not intellectual personality, intelligence. See? And not artificial intelligence, the natural intelligence. This artificial intelligence is creating havoc, is going to create more problems in the world. Those who are creating artificial intelligence, they are naturally intelligent, but want to create artificial intelligence. Therefore, having come to the human form, now we should have this clear destination. If we want to live happily, prosperity must be on the foundation of spirituality. If prosperity is not on the foundation of spirituality, it leads to perversion. Perversion is leading most unnatural life. See, friends, perversion is leading life without any control. Perversion is justifying the wrong as right. It's perversion. Then what the spiritual life tells us? The first thing that is told, that recognize you are not an isolated individual in this universe. Recognize your presence in relation to the totality around you. See? And we have to start working on this like a family. Now all the members of the family together makes a family, not only one person. So what will be the understanding as a spiritual practice? That we are in a family, we all must have to adjust ourselves and see what is our position. About this I'll tell you one example. One of my friend, he got one huge machine, must be double the length of this hall, where they were supposed to manufacture the security papers for the passports, for the bank accounts and all that, That machine, that special machine he got from Germany. And everything was settled, and I was called, we did the inauguration, everything, and then the machine started. After 2-3 days, the machine stopped. And reason, nobody knew. Because every night, because it is a security press, everything was cleaned, thrown in the garbage, and factory was closed and sealed, and next day, again in the presence of the security people, it will open. And they didn't know what happened, why it is not starting. So they have called the people in Germany. Those people went there and checked all the things. And in one place, there was one small screw which was missing. And then immediately he took the code number of that part, ordered in his own company. That thing came, he fitted it, and it started. So that small little screw, whatever reason is, it must have fallen on the floor. Whatever is on the floor is a garbage. It must have been thrown away. So that small little screw, when separated from the totality, is a garbage. When with the totality is the useful, functional thing. If this is clear, in the same manner, we have to learn that we are not an isolated person. We must be able to adjust ourselves according to the situation. Then we are walking the spiritual path. How important it is. And this we have to develop. Nobody can do it for us. That is why it is necessary that we are able to adjust ourselves wherever you go, in whatever situation. That is our spiritual practice. That is our spiritual examination. Anywhere, any situation is our spiritual examination. And what is an examination? Where you are asked difficult questions. If everything is perfectly all right, and then you sit for meditation, what is the great thing? This thing I have seen. There are many Mahatmas who are staying in their ashram, and everything is so standardized. What time they get up, there is a bell, so they get up. Without a bell, they cannot get up. Then their servant will come and give tea, coffee, whatever they want. Then there will be a hot water kept and towel kept. Then they say, sir, you can take bath. So they will go and take bath. Somebody there to wash their clothes. Somebody there to give them breakfast. Everything is so standardized. And if they have to go outside somewhere, then it becomes non-plus for them. See? Therefore, we have to adjust ourselves. And this can be done only by this simple technique. Take every interaction, every experience of life as our spiritual examination. And we have to have 4 out of 4. No less. Then only we can progress. So, this will start keeping our mind not reactionary, but it will act according to the given situation. So all this thing what I told is only for one thing, that we must stop reacting in any given situation. Just act. What is necessary, whatever is right. See, friends. Otherwise we will be most uncomfortable, miserable everywhere. After this is done, then such a mind which remains calm and quiet under all conditions, that mind has a natural instinct to know more and more. Be very attentive. What is the difference between the mind and the intellect? Mind can function only in the known field. When we remember the things, what things we remember? Only those which were known to us in the past. Can you remember my childhood? Can I remember your childhood? No. So mind functions only in the field of knowns. If we have to transcend these boundary of the known, we have to take another instrument. And that instrument is called as intelligence. Therefore, when we want to praise somebody, do we praise somebody, oh, she is mental? No. We say, no, she is intelligent. Because what is the intelligence? It has got the capacity to peep beyond the known. See, friends, why we are not able to go beyond the known? Because we are so much buried in the known. I am taking you one step by step. Please recognize this. How we are buried in the known. If you see in this world, we talk to the world as well as we talk to ourselves. When we talk to the world, we talk about our past. When we talk to ourselves, we talk about our possible future. Two things. In one place, when I was talking on this topic, that one of the highest spiritual practice is this. I am telling you also. And the practice is, do not talk about your past. So when I was talking on this topic, one elderly gentleman, very old, must be about 90, highly educated in the spiritual field, not knowing English and all that, he used to write wonderful articles, analysis and everything. So he asked me, Swamiji, you are insisting not to talk about the past, but unless we talk about our childhood, how our children will know? How they will know what was there in the past? I said, before we talk, tell them, ask, do they want to know? One basic rule is, nobody is interested in our past. People are concerned about their future. Now, for an old person like me, what is the future for me? No future. Then what do I have? Only past. So if I have got peanuts in my pocket, I cannot distribute chocolates. So I'll keep on talking about the past. Then I told him, see, if you are wanting to know the truth behind this simple spiritual practice, you tell me, past belongs to whom? Past belongs to the body. Body was born, body was a child, body was a teenager, body was a middle age, the body is old. Were you different in different bodies or you are the same? I am the same. Then what are you talking about? Your different stages of the body. By then, what is unknowingly happening? Your body identification is becoming stronger and firmer. Swamiji, that is true, but now you told something about your past. This happened there and you told you this thing, blah, blah, blah. So what about that? Somebody asked me this question, therefore I am telling you. I say, look here. If you want to get rid of the influence of the past, there is only one technique. And the technique is learn from every experience. When we learn from experience, impressions are not formed on the mind. When we don't learn from the experience, impressions are formed on the mind. And those impressions are in the form of likes and dislikes. There is no third impression. See, a regular example. During our childhood, we have touched sometime the fire, either the candle or something. And because of that, our fingers got burnt. So we have learned even as a child that the fire burns. And therefore, nobody has hatred for the fire. Because we have learned. See? And if somebody has other experience, for example, I have one very bad experience with the snake. And that childhood experience of the snake is so strong deep in my mind that even if somebody, for fun's sake, gives a plastic snake near me, I get frightened completely. I know it is plastic. I can't stand it. Because that impression of hatred or dislike is so much that I can't forget it. But on the contrary, when we learn from our experiences, slowly, with every additional experience learning, we grow wise. And who are the wise people? Who are happy. So to live happily, you have to be wise. See, friends, a dumb person can never live happily. He will only be struggling for happiness, struggling for happiness. Therefore, when we thus start finding out exactly what is the function structure of the mind, then we come to know. Now I am taking the next step. Mind is having two facets. One is the subjective facet, second is the objective facet. Like, this is a camera. Now, how this knowledge is happening to me? Step number one, this is a camera. Step number two, I know this is a camera. Step number three, I am not the camera. Although I am seen in that, but I am not that. So in this knowledge, two facets have come up. Knowledge is camera. One facet is I know. Second facet is I am not the camera. Now watch this in every knowledge, in every experience. This is a donkey. I know this is a donkey. People may call, but I am not the donkey. How simple it is. Now, next step. This subjective I is always one. See? Now, like this Ardhanari Nateshwar Shiva, one. Then Ganeshji, two. Then Kali Mata, three. Then furniture, four. Then a person on the floor, five. Five things are seen. They are five. But who knows that? I. The subject is one. It is not that I who is knowing the camera is different from I who is knowing the Lord Shiva. No. So what is the rule? Rule is subjective aspect is one, objective aspects are many. Get this mathematics. Now we go further. Again, one example I will tell you to make this point. In one place, big gathering, we were all having some kind of a management gimmick. Management is a bluff. There is nothing like management. Mismanagement is the truth. So, in that, I just called them. I said, hey, today you are all here. All age groups. The necktie people, plus their wives, children, grandparents, parents, everybody, huge crowd. I said, now forget about MBA, management, we'll have a lot fun. And in that fun, we have to learn something. So I called one child, hey, you come, he came. Then I told him, talk about yourself for next 3 minutes. Not more than 3 minutes. Okay, start. Now he had a problem what to talk. I said, come on, start. I don't know what to talk. I said, talk anything, we will not object. Big difficulty. He said, I like chocolates. One sentence. Again, big pause. I said, come on, talk. You have to talk. You can't keep quiet like this. Then second statement, I don't like taking bath. Mommy always tells me take bath. Second statement. See how nice lecture you are giving. Talk more. And he said, no, nothing. I said, no, you have to talk or you stand there 2 minutes more. He said, no, I don't want to stand, I want to go and I don't want to talk. I said, you have to do that. He said, if you don't allow me to go, I will urinate here. I said, please go there. He went. Threatening. Then I called one old man, 80 not out. And I told him, Uncle, you have to talk 3 minutes about yourself. He started. We had to call the security to lift him out. He said, no, I just started. I had to tell so many things. I said, now these two experiences are over. Now what we have learned? The child has hardly any past. Therefore, he has hardly anything to talk. And therefore, a child is more in the present, less in the past. And therefore, children are happy over silly things. Old people have a huge past. There is nothing new for them to look forward to. Anything is there, they go back past. No, during our childhood, who asked you? See, friends. So what is happening? This I who was one with so many objects. Now for the child, the number of objects entertained by the child was very few, and therefore his I was thin. Thin I is less egoistic I. And what are the signs of less ego? Less miserable. More ego, more miserable. No ego, all happiness. And this old man, he has such a huge collection of the past, a huge burden, and therefore his I was very fat. So what he will have to do? Start giving up the collection of the past. Lesser you bring your past in the present, to that extent your I starts losing fatness. Be attentive. And when we are able to live in the utter present, this is the formula I gave you yesterday, wherever we are, whatever we are, whenever we are, be 100%. Then, no burden of the past. Then, you are in the present. And when you are in the present, you have to be happy. You cannot be miserable. And when you are in the present, you are happy. When you are happy, you are in the present. Think. See? In a school, the teacher asks, please write a small story, not too long. And story should be short, but it must end happily. Don't make it end miserably. So start. So the children started. And one child kept the pen and paper. What about you? No, I finished the story. You told write short, ending happily, I did it. So early, yes, you told short, I written. Others people, students are struggling. And no, not this paper, second paper like that. So she told, okay, everybody stop, he has completed the story, let us listen to his story. Because he has given first, he is already first. So he started reading the story. There was a man and a woman standing back to back. First statement. Story began. Then they started walking. Naturally, apart from each other. The third statement. Thereafter they lived happily. See, whenever you are happy, you are in the present. So living happily therefore means what? Remain in the utter present. Just imagine a husband who has got two wives. Both of them are pulling his hands in opposite direction. What will be his condition? Exactly this is what happens to us. Because Either we are pulled in the past memories or we are pulled in the future worries. And therefore, we are always tense, frustrated. See, my friends, living happily is the highest spiritual practice. More than this, there is no other spiritual practice. Now, this happiness is evaluated when we are all by ourselves and how we are with ourselves. Are we at peace with ourselves, or we are constantly depending on some kinds of supports, either music or something to do or something to read or something to watch the TV, something or the other, or reading some book, because the mind is eating us. We have to come to this position that we are at peace without doing anything. Like we are in deep sleep. So living happily is like living in the deep sleep but still awake. And this is possible, friends. And this possibility is, before undertaking any work, any job, we are at peace with ourselves. During the job that is being done, we are at peace with ourselves. After the job is over, our equanimity is not compromised, is ever the same. This is what Bhagavad Gita tells. Whatever may be the path that you follow, follow the path of karma, follow the path of yoga, follow the path of devotion, follow the path of knowledge. All of them aim at only one thing. Samatvam yoga uchyate, equanimity of the mind must be perfectly maintained. Nothing should excite us, nor should depress us. One day one lady asked me this question. Swamiji, now I am following you for so many years, but I don't know whether I am improving myself, growing spiritually or not. Because now also I get sometimes angry, I become frustrated, even I shout sometimes. What is the use of my walking spiritual path? So am I progressing or not? I said, Mama, do you know what is the meaning of progress? Spiritual progress is not in time. Spiritual progress is not in distance. Spiritual progress is how much aware you are. Then I told her, now you yourself told that sometimes you lose your cool, you become angry. So this awareness which has come in you is the spiritual progress. Otherwise we even do not know that how unwanted we are somewhere, and still we keep on hanging. We do not know that we are not required to talk, but we keep on talking. When we grow spiritually, we start living more and more in awareness. See, friends. Therefore, living happily is the ultimate evolution for the human beings. And for that, like, one or two examples from Gita, Bhagavan Sri Krishna defines what is yoga, because he is all bliss incarnate. For him, yoga is what? When the difficulties and miseries come in life, he who refuses to be miserable, then ability to refuse to be miserable, then ability is called as yoga. See, like twisting the body in a most unenvious posture is called as yoga, but that is only body yoga. The real yoga is when we are able to remain undisturbed in the wake up of the miseries. The miseries will come to our life, but we are all miserable by our choice. You refuse to be miserable. Yes, miseries have come and they will go also. And in this manner, when we refuse to be miserable under any condition, that is the real meaning of yoga. So, this is the practice to live happily in this world. We are functioning, we are working on the yoga, on the mind. So when we are caught up in the lower three chakras, body identification, desire fulfillment, and greed, if these three are the criteria of our life, we are samsari. We can never live happily. But when we rise above this, we come to Anahata Chakra. And Anahata Chakra means what? Now we have started working on our mind. And I told you what is working on the mind. More the not I aspect is entertained by me, the I aspect becomes a stronger. Not I is a thought, and I is also a thought. Both are thoughts because we are talking in mind. So when the not I thoughts are plenty, the I thought is very fat. To the extent the not I thoughts are reduced, to that extent the I thought has started shrinking. He has started losing the fattiness. Be attentive. When there is zero not I thoughts, then there is I without a thought. This non-specific common I is the ultimate abode. Reaching here, we start living happily. And to practice this, one of the techniques I have seen, heard, and done myself is we have to learn to uh, remove the things, empty yourself. Start emptying the collections that we have in our house. So many things. See? I'll tell you my experience about it, what exactly it meant to me. Reading is not, it should mean to us. I shifted from one house to another house somewhere in Mumbai. So in that one house, I have my main possession is books. So my friend, I said, hey, you have to do it. I am not going to do it. He said, Swami, I'll take care. He got those books packed in the cartons, maybe about 20-25 of them, and shifted to the new house, kept in one room. Every time I used to go to Mumbai to my new flat, I will look at that whole mountain of cartons and every time think, okay, next time when I come, I will open them and then sort them out, categorize and everything. But when I want to do that, no, not this, next time I will do. It's because the very volume of the work was so disgusting. It continued, could you imagine, for 3 years. Could not do it. And I got so frustrated. One day, I wrote a letter to one of my library friend. He is a librarian in the big library, and I told him that such and such books are kept packed properly. You please go and collect it. I'll make arrangement for you. So he took all those things and made a category, everything, and wrote me a letter. Swamiji, this is the list of books that we have received from you. Kindly sign on every paper that you have given them as donation to the library. I did it and sent it, and then, the books were not on my head. They were in some room, and I was in other country. Yet, the burden was on my mind. The moment I dropped that, removed it, That day I discovered. What is the principle I discovered? The same habit of accumulating the things doesn't remain outside, it goes inside in the form of accumulating the memories. And we again and again talk about the same memories. I was here, I was there, and others are not interested. See, this is how our eye doesn't allow us to go beyond the thoughts. Thought free eye is living happily. I with the thought is a specific I. I am man, I am woman, I am husband, I am wife, I am friend, I am enemy. These are all specificities. The non-specific I doesn't have the clothing of a thought. Such a person is ever living in the utter present. And living in the utter present is alone living happily. If we just find out in our own life, out of the 24 hours, how many moments we are living without the past and the future as a reference point. And for this, the two techniques I told you to remain happily. First technique is when we have to talk to others, ask a question to yourself. Is it necessary to talk? Or if you have to talk, talk on such topics which has no consequence of anything. Oh, today is very hot. Yes, it's very hot. Oh, it doesn't make any sense. Or else talk about government, because government is an illusion. Any government you take anywhere in the world, then you are through about it. So, this way we stop getting involved in the world. And second thing, when we are all by ourselves, stop talking to yourself. When we stop talking to ourselves, we don't want to talk to others. This peace is not against any sound. We know only that peace which is against the sound. So we tell others, hey, don't make noise. Don't you see? I am doing meditation, don't disturb me. No, that is not the truth. Whether there is a silence, nothing is added. Whether there is a noise, nothing is disturbed. Like the ocean. When there are waves on the surface, ocean doesn't become rich. When all the waves die, ocean doesn't become poor. In the same manner, good experience, bad experience, equanimity is intact. And this can happen only if we have the knowledge that we have discussed. We have to have the technical know-how. And when you start doing it, you discover many subtle things in your own life. When the mind is too disturbed, what is to be done? What is the meaning of a disturbed mind? These things you don't get in books. One more thing I'll tell you, it's very important. Thoughts never disturb us. Then what disturbs us? The flow of thoughts. See? When the Ganges are very cool, slow, we enjoy. Or a lake or a swimming pool, there also there is water. We are not disturbed by that. But if there are floods and waters are flowing tremendously, then we suffer. Exactly the same way. If you observe, our mind gathers a momentum of thoughts and we get carried away by the momentum. So, what is to be done? It is the momentum of the thought that has to be arrested. It is something like when you are driving the car, road is straight, no disturbance. So many people put it on cruise and the car goes on. And if in between a kind of a sleep comes for a fraction of a second, then all accident. So to protect us, what the highways people do, there are some strips, ramble strips on the road, or there is a speed breaker, and therefore when you are in that mode of drowsiness, suddenly that speed breaker comes and your sleep goes away. Exactly the same way. When we are carried away by the flow of thoughts, we have to create the speed breakers. And the speed breaker is take a deep breath and start chanting anything you like. Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Again, Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. In this speed breaker of thoughts, the momentum of the thought will be arrested. And then you will discover a technique of your own. Normally, what happens? We complain. Swamiji, what you tell is true, but it is very difficult. Yes, it is difficult. Who says it is simple? Then you have to work on it. See? But most of the people, when they hear, they have only this question. Swamiji, what you tell is okay, we agree, we have understood everything, but it is very difficult. Now, the answer to this is we have not recognized the importance and value of this. Therefore, it is difficult. Anything you give importance and value, like the money. We have got value and money tremendous. Then, has anybody ever said, earning money is difficult, therefore I am not going to earn the money? Because we have got value for it. Exactly the same way, when we will have value for a spiritual life, meaning when we start working on our mind, we will stop complaining, but we start working on the mind. How it can be done? What are the different techniques? So slowly, here and there, you listen to satsanga. When satsang is heard 2, 3, 4 times, slowly from that satsang, one particular thought will come and just hit you. And from there, you slowly things start changing. Therefore, to live happily, you should not miss a single day listening to satsanga. In today's world, we are happy and blessed to have the internet where you get hundreds and hundreds of satsang. And all those satsang will help us think properly. Thinking is not the problem. Thinking improperly is the problem. Think properly, you are relieved from the wrong thinking. And thus, we start living happily under all conditions. And friends, it is possible for everyone. It is not the monopoly of few, but it is possible without an exception, everyone. Let us give it a chance to ourselves. That from now onwards, no complaints, all relaxed. It should be done, it must be done, it will be done, it is ought to be done. There is no choice. Attain and be happy. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.